Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. So, I'm finally bringing you the final update for my build, Poison Ivy 3.0, the best poison build for Rogue in Season 2. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The Paragon Board has changed a little bit, so let's look at that. All of these changes are available for days now, maybe even weeks on the Discord, but unfortunately, because I'm ill, even now, I did not really have the strength to do it. But I don't want to keep you waiting any longer, so let's do it now. So the first board, we changed a little bit. We are still taking all of the damage, all of the resistances, of course, that's what we need. But what we are using here now is Bane. Okay, so Bane in the first board, still taking all of the damage nodes, taking, strength to proc Bane itself and the armor with dexterity. Then we go up using cheap shot board, still taking the DR from elite, still going for all of the damage to crowd controlled enemies, but this time around versatility is here. The reason versatility is here is to max out on damage to crowd controlled enemies even further, plus to get some sweet DR from slowed enemies as well. Then we go to the left where we use Lyrana's Instinct. Nothing has changed here. Still taking all of the damage after dodging an attack nodes, all of the resistances nodes, and using Devious to not only increase the damage after dodging, but also the duration, giving us 100% uptime on the all damage affix throughout the whole dungeon, thanks to running more than 30% dodge chance, and we'll get to that later. Then we go up and this is where I made the change, the big change, and that's, going all in on control. We moved control from cheap shot to exploit weakness the same way we did it with my Uber boss build. So 49 intelligence around this, glyph area, or in this glyph area, giving us almost 146% damage to crowd controlled enemies, completely maxing out on it, because the value of close quarters combat damage modifier, thanks to damage to crowd controlled enemies, is something over 3, it's like 3.5 times the value of any other additive stat. So even when we lost, some additive stats like all damage, damage to vulnerable, vulnerable damage, etc., and exchanged it for more damage to crowd controlled enemies, which for example doesn't do anything against the bosses because we are literally unable to stagger them. We do so much damage that we are unable to stagger them. So, that's like a stat we lose against bosses and against enemies that are not crowd controlled, but the close quarters combat gain more than makes up for that and makes it actually stronger. So definitely max out on the damage to crowd controlled enemies. Then we go to the right, still using no witness board, literally zero changes here, still using efficiency, going for max life, going for all damage nodes, and going up where we use Eldritch Bounty and Kenny Glyph. We are taking all of the intelligence nodes around that we can get, not only to proc Kenny, but because intelligence gives us all resistances, so we want as much intelligence as possible to help us reach a precise 70% mark for all resistances. Then we go up and we take the legendary node Eldritch Bounty itself for even more resistances, and obviously more damage with our imbuements. Then we go to the right where our final board is, and it's Tricks of the Trade. And this time around we are using Turf to get even more damage reductions, because the damage is so high. Like, we sometimes kill enemies before we even apply chilling effect from Penitent Grease. Well, probably not that fast because it's like half a second to apply that. But still, we are killing them so fast that there is no way to basically CC them further or to even freeze them, even when using Frost Feeder. So Turf, definitely the better choice here. Plus, damage to close enemies works at all times, you know. So now that I'm also level 100, running T100s and everything, I just realized, oh my god, like I created a monster. Like we do some. There's no way. You just cannot stagger bosses anymore unless you're like level 70 doing T100, which you are probably not. So more damage to unstaggered bosses here, more DR, and if you are lucky and you have your Harlequin crest, you can also proc all of the nodes in the last board, you know, getting another damage to elite, 16% to be precise, and some extra armor, which at this point is an overkill, you know. 9,700 armor is more than we need to reach the 13,300 armor cap, but probably no one is gonna be so lucky to have everything 925, you know, and max rolls on total armor, etc. So having some room for armor is always good. Now let's look, you know what, actually let's look at the gear first, because I want to talk about the options we have on the skill tree. So when we look at the gear, Harlequin crest, obviously the best helmet possible. Anadriel's visage, also good. Cowl of the Nameless, also good. Normal helmet, also good. We have so many options here. Everything works. Um, you could say that normal player or like casual player will not even notice the difference. Apart from Harlequin crest giving you way more survivability. That's like the main point, you know, and the resource generation is extremely valuable as well, so that we can dish out more twisting blades. So yeah, this is like a really good helmet. But for all the other options, like if you go down here, you can, you know, like choose your set. It will change even items based on the set you are using. Okay, so that's for you. And also, if you are unlucky like myself, I forgot to mention one thing, and that's like I don't have any energy cost regeneration, nor do I have resource generation. So what you can do is use Fluidity in the first board, losing that damage reduction from turf, but gaining more energy regeneration, you know, and gaining more all damage, turning into, well, pretty much the same damage as when we lose almost 60% of damage to close, but giving us more damage because the more energy we have, the more twisting blades we can use. So that's like one thing you can do with the Paragon board. So you just, all you have to do is like click here and the Paragon board will change for you. Now, for our chest, what we want is the so-called Holy Trinity, which is DR close, DR flat, DR distant, and then what we want is total armor to be able to reach the cap. The aspect here is might. For our gloves, also nothing has changed here. Crit strike chance, lucky hit chance, attack speed, 4 ranks of twisting blades, and the aspect is bursting venoms. On our pants, and this is something that I use and something that I'm pretty sure is better than what others use, but you can still go for the Holy Trinity here. But I go for DR close, DR distant, total armor, and dodge chance against close enemies, because it helps me have 100% uptime on the Leirana's damage, and also when you dodge an attack, you completely immune it. So like you have to choose between either having the damage reduced or completely immuning it, and I'm running more than 30% dodge chance against close, so like half of the attacks are completely immune, so that's way better than a measly 10% DR flat in my opinion, or life, but that's up to you. Like all of that work, yeah, you can go DR flat, you can go life, anything works, but dodge chance against close, definitely my recommendation. And we are using disobedience aspect to reach the armor cap. For boots, still using Penitent Greaves. It's an extremely good damage modifier, even though we cannot really proc it against bosses. We do proc it in AoE fights against mobs. Plus it gives us cold resistance to reach, you know, the cap for resistances. So it's really, really good. Sorry. For our 200, you want damage to CC'd enemies, damage to close enemies, all stats, dexterity, and the aspect is still corrupting aspect. The gems are damage over time gems. Then we go for our one-handers. I do actually, when you have Harlequin Crest, recommend two best in slot daggers, like 4 out of 4 in terms of affixes, which is damage to CC'd enemies, damage to close enemies, all stats, and dexterity. The aspect on one is accelerating, and the aspect on the other is blade dancers for more PI damage with the orbiting blades, because it applies the PI damage with poison imbuement damage at 100% power. Now you can replace this dagger with Asheera's Khanjar, okay? Totally viable as long as it's really high item power and max roll or close to max roll on lucky hit chance and damage to crowd controlled enemies. But once you can get your hands on a full best in slot dagger, simply by getting 110 more dexterity and more damage to close enemies, you gain so much more value. Plus, you gain the 16% damage to elites as well in the last board. As you can see, if we are using Asheera's Khanjar, we cannot proc it, and we are using all of the intelligence nodes that we can on the board. Like, you would have to sacrifice something which would really not make sense, because this is super min-max board. There's nothing you can really move out without losing either survivability, like a lot of it, or damage. So yeah, definitely my recommendation on the gear is a best in slot dagger, 4 out of 4 in terms of affixes, with accelerating aspect, or like rapid aspect could be used as well, but accelerating is definitely better. Gems in the one-handed weapons are once again damage over time gems. Then for our rings, X4 Signet, this is like a must-have. Any poison build, this is must-have. It's literally one-shotting the screen. It's like the strongest item for poison rogue in the game, so you definitely want to get your hands on it. And the other ring is damage to CC. Again, it's our best stat. We need it, we want it, we love it. Resource generation, lucky hit chance, and crit strike chance with pestilent points aspect. And our amulet is 3 ranks of all imbuements, energy cost regeneration, 3 ranks of exploit. That's like the best, okay? 3 ranks of exploit is the best passive you can get. But you can also go for 3 ranks of Malice or 3 ranks of Deadly Venom. Unfortunately, Frigid Finesse, even though it's the highest damage modifier in the game, no longer does anything for us, at least for poison build, because we can no longer stagger the boss. If you're running like a physical build, maybe some kind of, yeah, like off meta, not using the Tybalt's Will and Condemnation bug, etc., and you are still staggering the boss, then you would go for Frigid Finesse. But for a poison build, we no longer need it because we cannot make use of it, okay? And exploit is better than Deadly Venom because it works for everything, not just for our poison damage. So that's definitely my recommendation. Malice is stronger than Deadly Venom as well, as long as the enemy is vulnerable, which, thanks to our Vampiric Powers and in single target, most enemies are in single target, all the enemies are always vulnerable. But yeah, it's inconsistent compared to the other two. It's inconsistent, so either 3 ranks of the exploit passive or Deadly Venom passive. That's my recommendation, with exploit being the strongest. The gems here, we are using shadow resistance, poison resistance, and lightning resistance. You know, we already got cold resistance from Penitent Greaves, and the fire resistance we are getting from the rings. As you can see, they give us all resistance, and then they also give us a singular resistance. So we go for fire. X-Fall always has fire, so that's where we get it, so that our resistances are 70%, which is what we really want, because they matter. This season, they matter. Okay, so once again, based on your luck with the helmets, you know, or even like your preferred helmet, you can choose the set in here. Anadriel, for example, is extremely good helmet because it gives you even more AoE clear. It's a less single target damage by losing poison imbuement ranks, but in AoE it's a goddamn monster. So plus the lifesteal is insane. You don't even need undying vampiric power with Andes. You heal so much that like it's off the charts. There also, I think, might be some funny builds pairing Andy and Temerity so that you have like non-stop barrier, you know, non-stop healing, and yeah, for like a casual player that might actually be a thing, you know, to like improvise with that and make something funny. So now let's look at the skills, and obviously the specialization is combo points. When looking at the skills, what I want to do this time around is I'm gonna give you like what I am playing, okay, and some mandatory points, and then I will also give you options, because a lot of people, for example, don't like playing with stealth, or they don't like playing with shadow step because on a controller it can get gimmicky, you know. So we have a lot of choices here, to be honest. So puncture, enhanced puncture, fundamental puncture, this is mandatory for sure. 5 points in twisting blades, enhanced twisting blades and improved twisting blades to apply daze. 3 points in sturdy for some more DR, 2 points in siphoning strikes for healing, 1 point in shadow step, enhanced shadow step for more crit strike chance. That's like superb in single target against like a big elite or the boss. And disciplined shadow step. So this is just strong beyond reason. Like you pretty much have this, like you have shadow step at all times ready for you, so that like especially against the boss, at the end of the dungeon you like non-stop have 8% crit strike chance, which is really good. And it also helps you like if you're in a huge fight against banshees, you know, and archers, etc., like you just keep on jumping, you know, around. Like you have 4 seconds, 3 seconds cooldown on shadow step, so you just, you know, jump from one side to another, and you never really get hit by their attacks. Well, you can get hit, but you avoid a lot of them. Plus, it helps you spread the poison, because obviously the twisting blade is returning to us, so everything it hits on the way back gets poisoned. So definitely my recommendation. We no longer need methodical shadow step, because once again we are not staggering bosses anymore. 1 point in dash, 1 point in rapid gambits, 1 point in trick attacks. Trick attacks is 100% good pick. You might see builds that don't have trick attacks, but those builds, just like, I think they're not optimized enough, because Devious Glyph, let's have a look at it, okay? Because Devious Glyph, the way it works is that when we hit an enemy with an attack that applies crowd control effect, so daze, knock, slow, you know, the enemy takes up to 10% multiplicative increased damage from us. So applying this sooner means doing more damage sooner, and that's what we really want. Plus, of course, if the enemy is knocked down, it cannot damage you, so it's another bonus. Then we move on and we use 3 points in agile. Yes, 3 points in agile, definitely my recommendation. You don't have to play it. If you don't want to, you can put the points elsewhere. That's for sure. But you know, if we look at the charts, we have 12% dodge chance overall. Okay, another 12% from our pants, so we are at 23 percent of dodge chance against close enemies, and with another 12% from agile, we are slightly above 30% dodge chance. As I told you, you immune all the damage. Like, why reduce the damage taken when you can simply not take any damage at all? So definitely my recommendation here. 1 point in Dark Shroud, Enhanced Dark Shroud, and Subverting Dark Shroud to have more movement speed, which turns into attack speed from our Vampiric Powers. 1 point in Concealment, that's what I am running, that's what I recommend, because it gives us 2 abilities that have Unstoppable, plus we can skip all of the mobs that we don't need to kill. Like, you don't need to kill mobs that are not elites, or like those like named monsters like electrical something, electrical bear or whatever, because those are the only monsters that actually drop gear if you're looking for gear, and there's the drop veiled crystals. You know, everything else is useless, so stealth helps us skip it. 3 points in exploit. Once again, it's the best passive that we have this season, especially against bosses. Then we move down, where we take 5 points in Poison Imbuement, Enhanced Poison Imbuement, and Blended Poison Imbuement. 3 points in Deadly Venom for even more damage. 3 points in Precision Imbuement for more crit strike chance, which turns into more damage, into more healing thanks to siphoning strikes, into more, well, everything. So crit strike chance is really, really important. But if you don't have it, on your ring, for example, if you have a really bad roll on your gloves, then you can always take mixed poison imbuement. You know, that's fine. Like, if your crit strike chance is really, really low, then mixed poison imbuement gains more value. So that's definitely an option here as well. And then we go here, where we take 3 points in innovation for more energy. We need that, we want that. Without energy we cannot use our twisting blades. 3 points in alchemist fortune, 3 points in second wind. We are maxing out on lucky hit chance, so that we are always in bursting venoms, so that our X4 is always exploding and killing everything. Lucky hit chance, we love it, we want it. 1 point in Adrenaline Rush for more energy regeneration, 3 points in Haste, because while above 50% energy, we gain increased movement speed, and movement speed turns into attack speed, while below we gain attack speed itself. So that's what we really, really want. And finally, Close Quarters Combat, the strongest key skill passive in the game, because not only it gives us attack speed, which we love, but it also turns our damage to crowd controlled enemies into multiplicative flat damage increase to everything, and we are maxing out on that, so we have more than 170%. So that's it for the skills that I am using, but as I told you, maybe you don't like Shadow Step. It's completely fine. Then don't play it. You know, you can take these points out and you have options. You can put it to Smoke Grenade and enhance Smoke Grenade, you know, and countering Smoke Grenade. If you put it here, you know, use the Smoke Grenade. Thanks to the orbiting blades in AoE, you essentially have like no cooldown on it, okay? Like, it keeps resetting over and over and over. So you are non-stop shooting your grenades, helping you with CC, helping you with survivability because dazed enemies can't hit you, right? And it also increases the damage they take from you. 25% multiplicative damage increase, and it works for our poison imbuement damage over time effect as well. So it's extremely good option. Another good option, especially if you're running like Cowl of the Nameless, that gives you ranks to all imbuements, okay, to all imbuements. So you can put points in Shadow Imbuement, Enhanced Shadow Imbuement, and Mixed Shadow Imbuement. Voila! Now you got even more AoE explosions paired with the X-Vault. Now you have 12% multiplicative damage increase to non-physical damage. So that's another option that you can play, and that's really, really good. Don't want Shadow Imbuement? Want Cold Imbuement to maybe like your level is very low or your items are low and you are still like staggering the boss and you want to make use of your damage to CC? Sure. Just use Cold Imbuement. You don't even need to put points in it. You already have 4 from either Harlequin Crest or from Cowl of the Nameless, for example. You know, and then I suggest using Frigid Finesse because it works at all times. It's still the strongest damage increase against chilled enemies. And if you have 7 points in Cold Imbuement, 2 attacks will instantly freeze the enemy. So you will do an insane amount of damage to elites thanks to Cold Imbuement and Frigid Finesse, for example. Okay, there are so many options out there. You can also use Trap, Poison Trap, Enhanced Poison Trap. Do you have enough lucky hit chance? Do you proc Bursting Venoms over and over? You can use Subverting for more damage. Do you not? Do you want a chance to reset your Poison Imbuement? Sure. Go for Countering Poison Trap. Voila. You can use this as well. You should always have one skill giving you Unstoppable, because you don't want to get CC'd. If you get CC'd, you are often dead, okay? So, but yeah, maybe you don't want to play Stealth again, like you don't have to, and you want to play Shadow Step, then by all means play Shadow Step. Sure, you need to improvise a little bit, so we get Shadow Step now, but you really want Enhanced Shadow Step and Discipline Shadow Step. Maybe you don't, okay, but maybe you do. So you can take points from somewhere else. You can, for example, take it out of Agile. 1 point to get Enhanced Shadow Step. Voila! Now you got the Crit Strike chance against the bosses, giving you more damage, giving you more healing. Maybe you don't mind. Devious proccing 1 second later. So just take it out of trick attacks. Voila, you got Disciplined Shadow Dash now, so you can just jump around all the time. With skills, it's very hard to say, apart from obvious choices, what is best in slot, what is completely mandatory, or like what is the best, because what suits someone might simply not suit you, okay? Especially, as I said, controller player, so Shadow Step is very gimmicky. You can jump into AoEs, you can jump on barrels, stuff like that, okay? Not everyone likes stealth. Maybe, like, there are people who just want to be killing everything, okay? Then, like, why stealth if you're not skipping it? Just don't play it, so there's a lot of options here. So that decision I leave up to you. I gave you what I am using. I gave you options for what you can use that will not like make you worse or make you weaker than the others. So yeah, now just make your pick. Also, with Harlequin Crest, another reason why I love stealth is that unfortunately Max Roll Builder doesn't add skills from Harlequin Crest, okay? But if you have 4 points in concealment, let's have a look, okay? Let's remove this, for example. 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17.2. Every skill point in concealment reduces the cooldown. So if you have 4 skill points in this, thanks to Harlequin Crest. It's already 3 seconds faster in cooldown, okay? Plus we have cooldown reduction from Harlequin Crest that also doesn't work on Max Roll Builder. It doesn't show the cooldown reduction from this. It doesn't show the cooldown reduction from X4 Signet, okay? But it does work. So you have like, I don't know, 13 seconds concealment, meaning that considering you are in stealth for 5 seconds, you can like stealth, dash, shadow step, and you can almost stealth again. You can skip the whole dungeon. If it's a dungeon that only requires killing the boss, you know, just yeah, you can skip all of it and do like 40 seconds runs. So that's why I love concealment as well, especially with the Harlequin Crest, because it increases its skill ranks. So yeah. And now let's look onto Vampiric Powers. Vampiric Powers are, well, the same as always. They are pretty much mandatory since, well, the release of patch notes, what we are getting in Season 2. When we still had Season 1, it was already obvious that this is what we use. So, Prey on the Weak for spreading vulnerable and for doing more damage to vulnerable enemies. Flowing Veins for more damage over time effect. Ravenous for more attack speed. It works with all of our, passives from the skill tree that give us movement speed, with the Dark Shroud, with everything. That's why we love and want movement speed. Then a cursed touch. A cursed touch, not only it increases the damage to those souls, which is extremely good. They actually do a lot of damage. Like they will kill the small mobs that are not elites in the dungeon. So definitely good to have them do more damage. But the spread, like it's 15%, okay, but it spreads in like 1 second. Like you hit an enemy twice, and the whole screen has Vampiric Curse on them. So this paired with Prey on the Weak is extremely potent. And then Undying for healing. But for example, if you have Andy, as you can see, if you click Anadriel, it changes because you no longer need healing from Undying. So but we lost the damage reduction, right? Because we have damage reduction on even Cowl of the Nameless. We can take more damage reductions if we have normal helmet because we no longer need total armor on our pants, so we can keep the dodge and take damage reduction flat. But when using Andy, we don't really get anything. So using resilience makes up for the loss of DR, and you still keep the insane amount of AoE damage and healing from Andy. Also, as you can see here, the gem changed. You see, here's a poison resist. Here isn't, because, well, simply Andy gives us 90% poison resistance, and the Paragon board is pretty much the same, or is the same, but we are losing, the all stats, etc. So this is how we still keep 70% on everything, 70% resistances on everything. So this is it for the build guide. It was pretty exhausting, I would say. Once again, you got many options in terms of skills, in terms of gear. As I told you, like, you can still use Asheera's Khanjar, extremely valuable weapon. I myself am using it because I don't have a 4-4. I don't even have one 4-4 weapon. So Asheera's is definitely valuable for me. I also have it on more than 900 item power. So yeah, a pretty good weapon. Like, you got a lot of choices. So, don't be afraid that you're missing something or that you don't like something. You can always improvise. Apart from doing the mandatory, which is the Paragon board, which is what most people come for when looking at the builds, because yeah, they don't want to deal with it, they don't want to do the research, what works, what doesn't, and how to min-max the board. So that's where I got you with the best poison Paragon board in the world. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the gameplay now. Oh my god. Oh my god, this looks like a terrible dungeon. Wait, you know what? It's a showcase. It's a build showcase. I should be killing stuff.
I don't have enough energy.
Wait, imagine... Okay, now I got it. Finally. Imagine having lucky hit on everything. I'm just gonna be killing elites, right? Like, who cares about normal mobs?
How long are we going to stay here? This place reeks.
But imagine having lucky hit on everything and it took me so long to actually proc it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. The damage is looking juicy, baby. No! Wrong way. Slay the keepers. I can do that. I can most definitely. Oh my god, they evaporated. Like, that's what happens when incl Signet procs. Oh, that's a butcher. Okay. Okay. Should I kill these first before I kill the butcher? Probably.
I'm not ready yet.
What? How did he... How did he... He literally hit me from, like, the back. What the fuck? How did he do that? Cheats? 100% cheats. Can he die already? Imagine killing Butcher this long with the strongest build in the world.
I need more time.
Just kidding, like. Obviously, we can't ever compete with bugged builds, right? Like,
I'm not ready yet.
we can't compete with Barbarian doing like 500 billion damage. Like, and I'm not over exaggerating. Like 500 billion damage with like a hit, right? This is just stupid, but. And the same kinda, the same kinda applies for us, right? Because we got a bugged build as well. We can play Tibalts, but I'm not gonna do that. This is lame. Yep. So easy. Wait, I don't need to kill these. Slay the keepers. Like, where are the keepers? It feels like I'm here for ages. Ages, what the fuck is that word? Give me this. I want items. Like, really? What? How long is this dungeon? What? Okay, not here.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, there he is. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Yep. I just saw the keepers, like all four of them, using the frontal, and I was like, nope, no way I can avoid that.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay, here's one. Finally! The second we proc bursting venoms, everything dies.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm probably full gear, I can't, full inventory, I mean. I couldn't loot. No, I want items. Wait, where am I going? I'm stupid. I'm stupid. But I'm having fun. And that's good. Okay, okay.
I need more time.
Okay. Oh my goodness. This is the best poison build ever. Oh my god. If you also manage to buy better hands than mine, then yeah. Am I? Yeah.
I'm not ready yet.
Let's see how the boss goes. These are the affixes, by the way. Healing received increased. Yeah, not bad, you know. Decreasing our dodge chance. That's bad, because I'm actually running over 30% dodge in this build, so that I have 100% uptime on Leirana's damage. What? Okay.
I'm not ready
Still no bursting venom. Okay, that's cringe. That's cringe, what the fuck? Still gonna die before reaching Stagger. Yeah. Pretty damn easy. Pretty damn easy. Not here. These are my stats. I literally just leveled up. So 13,000 HP, you know, 8,000 armor. So I'm using Disobedience on my necklace to reach the cap. And quite a lot of attack power because I'm going obviously for all the flat all damage increases in the Paragon Board that you can find in the description down below and that you could have seen in the build guide. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.